All right, hey guys, this is Coach Marcus here in Las Vegas. Welcome to tonight's $1 million MLM Leadership Development Training. We do this every Sunday and Tuesday night. I'm the guest host tonight. Coach Miriam is out today because her mom passed away, so keep her in your prayers. But I'm going to do a really quick newbie corner. And just for those of you, as you grow, and you are developing into a leader, and that's the purpose of these calls on Sunday. Always remember, leadership doesn't require you to be perfect. Leaders will make mistakes. I made a couple mistakes this week, and I've learned from. And so always remember that, leadership doesn't require perfection, but when you do make a mistake, be quick to recognize it and also be quick to apologize, right? Once you are aware a mistake was made. And also when information is presented to you, be sure to gather all the facts before you take any action or make any decisions. Okay, so that was a learning opportunity for me this week. And so I just wanted to just remind you guys, let you know that leaders aren't perfect and perfection is not necessary, but we are all here to get better. Also, I taught about this a couple weeks ago on one of our trainings, one of the franchise factor trainings, as far as your benefit statements. When someone asks you, what do you do? Right? It's important to make sure you have a strong benefit statement. That may pique curiosity when you're having that conversation with people. And we've taught, when you meet people, whether it's on social media or in person, and you get to know them and you ask them what they do, and they'll tell you their job or whatever they do for their vocation. And then most people are going to ask you what you do. And so get into the habit of being prepared to talk about what you do here with Green Organics. So my benefit statement, I wrote it down in my super prospecting book from Big Al. Hopefully you guys have this book. But my benefit statement is simple. I help people feel better from the inside out. I show them natural ways to reduce pain and inflammation, support healthy blood pressure, and lose weight, while also helping those who want to earn an extra paycheck by sharing what's helped them. It's all about better health, better habits, and better living. So I have a summary, a little short statement about that, and that tends to pique curiosity in the people who either have a health issue or people who want to earn extra income. So just want to encourage you guys when someone asks you what you do, be prepared to have a good benefit statement that will pique curiosity. And this book was what Coach Will shared this with us about 3 weeks ago. When I bought it on Amazon, it was only $2.39. Okay, now it's $35 on Amazon, I think. And so you may have to Google it, but if you guys can find this book, this is one you definitely want to have this in your library, right? So that's the newbie corner from me. All right. And so I wanted to introduce our trainer and our speaker tonight. His name is Coach Will Zanders. He's married, has some pets, turtles, has cats, has his dog Gus. Wife is MJ, and he's our first male seven-figure earner with Green Organics, and he's also the first $100,000 earner with Go Dasana. So I want to introduce him and welcome Coach Will to tonight's call. And Coach, are you ready to hop on and share your nuggets of wisdom tonight?
I am, Coach. Thank you so much. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we hear you fine.
All right, perfect, man. Thank you. And I just got back in the door like 2 seconds ago, so I don't even have my laptop and everything set up. So I'm gonna just go off camera so I can make sure that we stay on point with the notes, man. But thank you so much for that kind introduction. And everybody, like Coach said, man, keep Miriam in your prayers for sure. That's a tough deal for anybody to handle. All right. So that being said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank y'all for tapping in. You have about 30 seconds to text message any of your team members last minute to let them know to hop on. And while we're doing that, I'm gonna just make one quick point because ironically, I was going to talk about some different books tonight as well. It's so funny, Coach Marcus did that in the newbie corner. He made a great point there. So we're actually going to be talking about some books that you should definitely have or acquire over time in your collection. I'm going to give you some titles of some books today not for you to run right out and go grab them all. You couldn't even, if you bought them all, you couldn't even read them all at the same time. But I'm definitely going to give you some titles that we haven't talked about in the past that you can add to your book list. If you've been with our team for any extended period of time, especially if you've been here for a couple of years, you know that a couple times a year we talk about certain books that are in the network marketing profession and not in the network marketing profession that you've probably acquired. So we're going to give you some new ones, readers or leaders, and we're going to talk a little bit more tonight as well. About the scientific reasons why reading is so important for you, and a couple other things that very people far wealthier than I am do typically on a daily basis. And then I'm going to not just tell you what they do, I'm going to tell you why it works from a scientific standpoint. So hopefully that'll make a lot of sense to you, guys and girls. Another thing Coach Marcus brought up was the fact that leaders are not perfect. And this is an absolute statement of fact. I think one of the reasons that qualifies us to be leaders in the first place is that we made all the mistakes. And that's why it pains us a lot of times when we see other, up and coming leaders and leaders, we see them make mistakes, or we see other leaders or other, reps make mistakes. And we always feel bad because we're like, oh man, that's a mistake that they probably shouldn't have made. The only reason we can even identify mistakes in ourselves and others in the right way and the wrong way to go about things in this business is not because, we necessarily receive this magical gift from God and he just, taps us on the head and say, boom, you're going to be an amazing at this, that, or a third. No, a lot of times people have the results they have and they've achieved the leadership levels that they're at because they've made so many mistakes, but they've never quit. You know what I'm saying? We've already made like so many mistakes, but the fact that we didn't quit and we fight through that and continue on toward the goal, that's what makes you a leader. It's not that you're perfect. Leaders are more imperfect than people who aren't leaders. And a lot of times people who aren't leaders, who don't aspire to be leaders, which is totally fine, they make the same amount of mistakes leaders do, but because they're not in a leadership position, they're not under that microscope. When they do something, you don't hear about it or you never even know it. And that's part of what it takes to just be on the court, to even be in the game, to play the game. You're going to put yourself in a position where, yeah, you can be criticized. Just be ready to be criticized for anything you do negative ever, and you're never going to be awarded for the things that you do great. Like just if you can accept that, you'll be okay. Like you got to watch the people who will never pop out to really clap their hands for you, but the people that pop up with so much to say when you stumble or you make a mistake and they got everything to say, that's the goofiest thing ever. All I ever tell people to do, if you're going to be critical when people make a mistake, please keep that same energy when they do something good. And if you don't do that, you're already exposing yourself as a type of hypocritical individual that will never achieve true leadership. You don't deserve it because you're not understanding the balance that it takes to become a leader. It's easy to take shots at people, very, very easy. It's very difficult for certain types of people to congratulate other people on their greatness and what they do that impacts other people. So thank you, Coach Marcus, as always, for your insight, for your transparency, for your leadership, your stability. None of us, quite frankly, this doesn't get said enough, not one of us, myself included, would be here if not for you staying the course, working on your skills, recruiting, retailing, building a team that led to all of us being here and the thousands and thousands of people in the company. That's a result of your efforts, and that doesn't get said near enough. So thank you again for that. And we will keep the party going. Listen, Las Vegas has shaped up very, very quickly, as our events typically do. It is going to be absolutely off the chain. We do have a couple of people that could not attend, but they're still going to attend online. So if you need to get an in-person ticket, if you want to get one of those 4 or 5 in-person tickets that are available, by all means, reach out, let me know, and I will get you one or connect you with the people who have an extra in-person ticket. And we'll go from there. It's going to be amazing. The jersey mock-ups came there. I know I shared them with a couple of leadership folks. The thing I don't like about mock-ups is that they never look as good as they will in person. And y'all know that. For the people who saw the mock-up from the last jersey and then they saw the finished product, it was amazing. And everybody who didn't get one, Wish they would have got one. Well, this is your chance. We got those. Our Las Vegas themed jerseys are absolutely ridiculous. The design that the leadership that people picked it's incredible. I cannot wait for y'all to see these jerseys. If you don't have one already, you got to get your order in ASAP via Facebook Messenger. Because if we don't get the order in on Tuesday, which means your income, yeah, anyone can get one of these, Greta. Yes, anyone can get one of these. I got guilt tripped, and again, that we make mistakes. We didn't allow people to get one if they hadn't got like 5 or 10,000 in commissions and this, that, or a third. And the people who hadn't been at that level yet were, boy, they was on me. So I said, okay, we're gonna make sure everybody can get one. That way I feel good about it. Everybody can get one. And a lot of times just having a jersey, especially if you leverage it on social media. We've even seen other leaders at other companies a month or so after we came out with ours online, everybody else and their mama want to have team jerseys now. So if you think that was bad, wait till you see this next batch coming out. They absolutely killer. They look incredible. And you'll see other people in network marketing just continue to try to emulate what we do. And we know that imitation is the greatest form of flattery. So we appreciate them, even if they don't give us credit. We don't need the credit. We're just changing the network marketing landscape to be something that people are comfortable talking about, where people don't think it's a scam or a scheme, where people see the real leadership, the real team, the real fun that we have. And Vegas is going to be as much fun as every Vegas is. I really take it upon myself to make this one even more fun, which is you're not going to understand until you're there. But that being said, training is going to be amazing as always. We'll have 2 days of training instead of one. That means more time to learn, more time to implement, and more time for recognition. So we'll see everybody there. And feel free to reach out to me on Facebook and we will get you taken care of. All right. That being said, let's dive into the information. Now, the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about some different things in reference to brain waves. Okay. And we know that the brain waves are measured in terms of an electrical current. And we talked about last time how you have brain waves of alpha and theta and beta and delta. Like delta is the brain wave when you sleep. Alpha is the brain wave when you're kind of locked in, you're in the zone working on a project or something. Theta brainwave states, it's when you're imagining. It's a brainwave state that's very close to hypnosis. Like when you first wake up early in the morning and you're still kind of sleepy, you're not really up yet. That's the theta wave brain state. And then you can go on to alpha brainwave state from there. But most people spend their lives in the beta wave brain state. Beta waves, that's the stress level. Okay. And then of course there's an even higher level of that, which is gamma wave brainwave states. And there's even more, but we don't need to talk about those for purposes of this class. All we need to understand is that there are four main brainwave states. Okay. The main brainwave states are going to be beta, that's the highest. And there are things higher than that. We're just not talking about those. But beta wave is the highest, then alpha is underneath that, then theta is underneath that, and then delta, which is that deep sleep. That's the brainwave level underneath that. So we're just going to have to understand what those four are. And if you understand that people who are broke, people who are stressed out, even if they're working really, really hard, they spend the majority of their day, okay, in the beta wave brain state. This is stuff everybody should learn in school. Everybody should learn this in college or high school, college for sure. But just understand, everybody who is in everybody who has just financial difficulty for their whole life just cannot get it figured out. The thing that they all have in common is typically they operate in the beta wave brain state, which is a good brain state if you're actively on a deadline or a crunch, or you're trying to fight off somebody. But as far as manifesting the life that you want, as far as really being in the proper state of answered prayer, that is not a beta wave brain state. Just understand that. And we know that scientifically because they have done different brain readings on people when they're stressed, when they're happy, when they're praying, when they're sleeping, when they're having fun, when they're sad. And so we know all this from science about what brain waves, and I'm using the waves very intentionally, that people are in at different points of the day, and successful people, quote unquote, versus unsuccessful people. Now, two things that a lot of very successful people do, you can start doing this one immediately, okay, is that in the morning, doing these two things, okay, will absolutely change the way that your days go, and it can start for you as early as tomorrow. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, okay, if God blesses you with another day, I hope He blesses all us with another day to see the sun. When you wake up, please don't check your phone. Do not go straight to the restroom immediately upon waking. You got a couple of seconds, right? It only takes a couple of seconds. If you wake up and you have an alarm clock, all right, I don't really think alarm clocks are a bad thing. I don't have one. I don't want one. I had one for a long time, but it helps you if you look at it more of terms of an opportunity clock. Okay, one of my mentors used to call it that, and I didn't understand it until I didn't have to have one no more. It's an opportunity clock. Don't look at it as this negative thing. It's an opportunity clock. If you can hear that thing go off, you should be excited because you woke up to see another day, and no day is promised to anybody. And so you hear that opportunity clock go off in the morning, you get up immediately. You do not hit snooze. You get up and you get out of bed immediately. Immediately. Just try it. And the second you get up, I want you to either clap your hands or do something, but typically clap your hands one good time and say to yourself, it's going to be a great day. It is going to be a great day. And that, when you do that in the actual theta wave brain state, that's the only time you can guarantee that you're in the theta wave brain state is right when you wake up. That's that half sleep. The second you hear that opportunity clock go off, you pop up, clap your hands loud together. Boom, it's going to be a great day. Okay. You are immediately programming your mind to make sure that you have a great day. Okay. And you might not even notice all the little great things that start to happen from that one habit, but that one habit can change a lot of things for a lot of people. Okay. The second thing that you can do bright and early in the morning, and we'll really dive deep into this one, is going to be to focus on your breathing. And I really want to shout out, Paula Scarcella for having the feel good, be good, do good email list, because put a one in the chat if you get those emails every day. We're going to kind of unpack that a little bit more because it's a valuable resource that I think a lot of people are simply not taking advantage of. But you're going to really appreciate it at a different level. So it talks about my favorite part actually is going to be the breathing exercises. All right, it's one of my favorite part. But what I want to do is to break down for you that those breathing exercises, although the science is not explained in the email, I'm going to kind of break some of them down for you. And those are many, many different exercises. Some repeat, but some are different. And this particular way to breathe, we're going to talk about right now. If you start doing this in the morning, it's going to become a habit for you throughout the day, because a lot of people don't know this, but I'm going to prove it to you with science tonight. Your breathing affects your weight. Your breathing affects your mood. Your breathing affects your money. Your breathing affects nearly everything. And you know this because you can survive for weeks and months without food. You can survive for days without water. You can only survive a couple of minutes at most without breathing. It's that important. It's the number one exercise that you have to be able to do as a human being to live. A baby isn't necessarily born knowing how to drink or eat or chew. They don't even have teeth. Okay. A baby intuitively, right, would treat like the mom's nipple or the little part on the end of the baby bottle. They intuitively are going to get that part figured out. But breathing is something a baby's got to start doing right out the gate, right out the gate. And as human beings, we do not even notice how babies breathe. They don't breathe through their mouth at all. Human beings are not designed to breathe through your mouth. Your mouth is designed for food and drink. Your nose is designed to breathe. How do we know this? Because we study it in nature, okay? Now, when I talk about breathing, I want you to imagine that you're breathing in through your nose, but the key to this technique is I want you to technically fill your stomach up first with air. Now, when I say fill your stomach up first with air by inhaling through your nose, that's not actually your stomach. It feels like it, it's not. That's your diaphragm, and that's the lower part of the lungs. All right, that's the lower part of the lungs. When you inhale very deeply through your nose, you're filtering out all kind of germs and everything in the air into your nasal hair, which is a filter for your lungs. The reason why you have hair in your nose, nasal hair, is because those hairs are different than hair on your head, and those hairs are designed to trap the germs and the pollens and the things like that that are in the air. When you breathe through your mouth, there's no filter. You're getting all of those germs and everything and pollutants in your lungs directly through your mouth going into your body. You don't want that. So when you inhale through your nose, the way human beings are designed to breathe, the nasal hair is going to act like a filter. And you know when the filter is full because you're going to sneeze or you're going to feel like it's time for you to blow your nose. And that's how you clean the filter. These are very natural, normal things. Even animals sneeze when it's time for them to clear out the filter in the nose. Okay. Now, breathing deeply in through your nose and out through your nose, filling up your stomach first with air and then your chest. And remember, it's not technically your stomach, but it feels like it. And exhaling through your nose, that deep nasal breathing, that diaphragmatic breathing, okay? When you breathe like that, it's massaging your internal organs, all right? Your diaphragm and your lungs are going to be massaging other internal organs. This is very, very helpful for your body's internal organs. Okay, that's number one. Number two, when you breathe, or that's number two. The first one was that you're going to get less sick when you breathe properly. Number three, from a breathing and weight loss standpoint, breathing is the number one quickest thing you can do, and it's free to decrease cortisol inside the body. All right, cortisol is going to be a stress hormone, and the science for this is very, very clear if you care to go research it. Cortisol, when you get into a car, for example, especially if you're going to be driving anything over 10, 15 minutes, your cortisol goes up whenever you drive a vehicle. Do you understand that driving a vehicle is not something your body was built to do? Do you understand that driving a vehicle at 30, 40, 50, or 60 miles an hour is moving faster than the human body was ever designed to move? Okay. So when you're moving at those speeds and doing those things, cortisol is skyrocketing in your body. And that is what is keeping body fat on a lot of people. It's not just life stress, it's stress from doing things that the human body was never designed to do, like driving a car. And the second you get in that car and start it up, cortisol immediately spikes. Okay. The more times cortisol spikes, the more weight you're going to hold on to your body. All right. This is why truck drivers got that build, man. Truck drivers don't necessarily be stressed out, but they're driving all the time. All right. This is why truck drivers typically are built like truck drivers. This is for that reason. Okay. But when you properly breathe, okay, especially when you're in through the nose, out through the nose, deep, deep breathing, taking at least 4 to 6 seconds to fill up the full capacity of the lung, you are decreasing cortisol within seconds. And when you decrease cortisol, you decrease body fat. And that is, you don't have to change your diet for that. You don't have to exercise more for that. You don't have to go pay for that. Just you breathing a certain way will already start to reduce fat. Do it for a month and see what happens. Breathe like that when you think about breathing like that. Okay, so that's another thing. Now, when it comes down to making money from a breathing standpoint, again, it comes down to cortisol. When you are in a stressful situation and your body perceives that, I don't know if y'all have noticed, maybe some of y'all have never been in no stressful situation, but if you have, you know that when people are in stressful situations, they breathe shallow. They're almost like panting, like just trying to catch their breath. That's a mindset too. Just trying to get ahead. That's a mindset. Just trying to figure out how you're going to make it all work. That's a mindset. And that type of mindset, especially in place of cortisol, it's going to be difficult for you to be creative enough, to be resourceful enough, to think about the things, to do the things that are going to make you financially successful. Okay. Deep breathing is very, very helpful. It also helps oxygenate your pineal gland. All right. So just thinking about those things and breathing, let me give you one more. When you deep breathe the way that I just told you, if you breathe like that 5 times in a row, 5 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the nose, but fill up the stomach first, then the chest, hold it, and then exhale through the nose very slowly. One breath should take you at least 15 to 20 seconds. For one full inhale, hold it, and then exhale. Should take you at least 15 to 20 seconds. The emails do a great job of coaching you through that when they do the nasal ones. But just understand, if you do that 5 times, it's going to take you a little over a minute to do 5 breaths like that. You are immediately in the theta to alpha brainwave state. Again, this is science. Don't take my word for it. If you want to be in that right sweet spot of brainwave states where billionaires spend most of their time, where millionaires spend most of their time, that is where their brain waves are at typically, is right in between alpha and theta. How do you do it? You breathe just like I told you. Okay, breathe just like I told you. And you do that 5 times in a row, and that is enough to get the body to go from any other brainwave state into that mix right in between alpha and theta, right on the cusp of that. That's the mindset that when people, doctors have studied billionaires with the little EKG monitors on their brain or whatever, that is the mind state that billionaires and millionaires are in the majority of the time. All right, put a 1 in the chat if just that breathing different part makes sense. Just put that in the chat if that makes sense at all. I hope it made sense. Hope it didn't go over everybody's head. I feel like we broke it down pretty good. But this stuff is scientifically proven. You should 100% do this. The Bible even talks about the breath of life at length, how important breathing is, right? So get that down, all right? Now, since we're talking about 2 things that significantly wealthy people do, especially in the morning, let's cover another couple more, all right? And again, this is not opinion. This is factual data. This is actually the things that successful people actually do. And we'll try to cover, let's cover at least 3 more, okay? Here's number 3. They think big. They think big. I'm actually looking at a book right now, this book on my bookshelf. It's 2 of them. This one's actually been on the book list for a while. It's The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz, PhD, Dr. David Schwartz. All right. But just understand, thinking big is something that super, super, super successful people always do. It's always about thinking big. Okay. Now, when I first got to HBN, and this is because I had already been in the industry for a while, so nobody had to teach me that. I already had read that book many times. My mentors had already told me many, many times, no matter what you do, think big, right? Go, if you're going to do it, think big, right? And when I first got to HBN, I did not know but 3 ranks. I didn't know how to get to bronze, silver, gold, pearl, sapphire, or ruby, or emerald. All I wanted to know was, how do I get to diamond? And they said, you got to have X amount of platinums. I said, how do you get to platinum? They said, you got to have X amount of executives. So that's the only 3 ranks I knew. I was trying to go diamond immediately. It took a couple of months because HB diamond is a real, whew, that's a tough rank. Okay. However, it's all I thought about. I didn't know how to get gold. I didn't know when I hit pearl. I didn't know why I hit pearl. I didn't really care. When I hit sapphire, didn't know how, didn't know why, was not concerned. I was only concerned with diamond and platinum because it meant diamond. And I was only concerned with executive because executive meant platinum and platinum meant diamond. I was thinking big out the gate. When I first came to HBM, my sponsor at that time, before he quit and flew the coop, he asked me what my goals were. I said, I want to make 6 figures in 6 months. He said, I want to be at 100 grand in 6 months. That's my goal. Day 1, when he was talking about my 20 reasons why, because I taught him 20 reasons why. Like, man, what's your goal? What you trying? Man, I said, I'm trying to do 6 figures in 6 months. Now, for the record, for those of y'all who were with us back then in 2019, I think it was, I did not make 6 figures in 6 months. I made about 50,000 in my first 5 or 6 months. I think it was 60,000 the first 6 months, which is still really good. Let's not get it twisted. But that wasn't my goal. But I was still thinking so big that it mentally, even if I didn't achieve it and I fell short, it was still really good. See, a lot of people aren't thinking big enough to even fail. If I fail and only get half of a full matrix done, that's still really, really good. So my mindset is thinking big. I want this entire Go Desana matrix full with 9.95 minimum $9.95 orders minimum. You see, that's the value. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with that. Okay. Now, because I'm thinking big, I was taught to think big. I want you to think big. That book, we'll talk about the book list a little later, but that book has definitely been on our book list. It's always going to be on the book list. And it's one of the best tools you can have to do that. And again, and we're going to double back in a second and talk more about reading in a minute. But that's not our next point. Okay. So put a 2 in the chat if thinking big makes sense, and if you think that if you think bigger, you'll have some better results. I know you will. I know if you think bigger, you'll have better results, but you just can't be afraid to think bigger. Okay, whatever you think your goal is, I want you to think bigger. All right. Now, the second thing, oh no, that's one, two, three. The fourth thing that we'll talk about that super, super successful people do, other than starting their morning a certain type of way, breathing a certain type of way, even if they don't know that they're breathing that way, they are, even if they don't know it. Okay. In addition to thinking big, number four, what do people that are super successful do? They take initiative. All right. They take initiative, period. They take initiative. All right. They see what needs to be done and they do it without being told to do it. I wish Miriam was on the call so I could brag on her a little bit because she's amazing at that. But Tiara Moore, Charlotte Whitaker, all right, Coach Seymour Greenridge Blake, those are three people I can tell you out the gate are just absolutely phenomenal at taking the initiative, okay, out the gate, taking the initiative and just doing what needs to be done. Period. They just do it. You don't have to tell them. You ain't gotta. If I got a meeting coming up, I can tell how the meeting's gonna go based on who's asking me to do the meeting. When Lillian and Butch Corville do a meeting, when Rasan Owens does a meeting, it is when Gina Wilson does, like I automatically know how it's gonna go because they're gonna take the initiative and have everything the way it need to be before I ever get there. They take initiative in their life, but they also take initiative in their business as well. A lot of times how you do anything is how you do everything. But we got some amazing coaches and people who are on the way to coaching who are just really, really good at taking the initiative. Okay, if they got meeting Atlanta, trust and believe, Derek Jamot, Derek and Lynette are gonna have something delicious there. They just take the initiative. They don't even have to do that, but they take the initiative and they just get it done. All right, that's how they operate. And a lot of people, if you're not operating that way, you just take the initiative. I highly recommend you start. All right, if you see what needs to be done, just do it without being told to do it, and that is going to make an incredible difference. The fifth thing and I could have named a bunch of people, but I didn't want to start because then I leave somebody out and they need to get mad. So I don't want to do a whole list. Y'all know how it is. And another thing would be number five that people do that ultra successful. They have a do it now mentality. And I once read a book, I forget the title, it was by W. Clement Stone. I think it was called The Success Secret That Never Fails. Okay, something to that effect. Love that book, absolutely amazing. And heard the audio, absolutely love it. And he talked about a do it now mentality, a do it now mindset. Okay, I'm not even a Bill Gates fan. I've never met the man, but from what I know, he's a genius, but he's a troubled individual. But I could be wrong. All right, but they did ask me. They said, Bill Gates, how are you so successful? This, that, and the third. He said luck had something to do with it, and he said I was in the right place at the right time to learn about computers before computers were a thing, and this, that, or a third. And they said, but weren't there other people at your school too? And they didn't blow up and do it, blow up big like you. And they were at the same school, the same class you were and whatnot. And he said, you're right. He said, I think if there was one characteristic that separated me from everybody else who was the same age as me, same height, weight, from the same place, same gender, same everything, the thing that separated me from them, why I'm so successful and they're whatever they are, he said, is I have a do it now mentality. He said, I was very impatient. He said, I just wanted to get the stuff done. When I saw an idea to do something, an opportunity to do something, a technique to do something, I'm doing it now. He said, I'm gonna take massive action. He said, I was very impatient. I didn't want to wait for other people to do it for me. He said, I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna do it. That's how we started doing boot camps. I think that's why we're so proud of the boot camps that we've done. It's not the biggest boot camps in the industry, not even close and stuff like that. But this is not corporate. This is just us and y'all trying to do our best to put stuff together with coaching and teaching that helps you grow based on people that are growing the same business that you're growing. Okay, so we're very proud of what we do because we had to have a do it now mentality because the company was like, oh, COVID, that's our excuse. We're never doing events ever again. And that was it. That was basically it. So we had to really take over from there and have that. We had to take the initiative. We're always thinking bigger and better for our events. We wish we could do even bigger and better. We're always trying to do bigger and better, but we definitely take initiative and we're just doing it now, doing the best we can, right? So those are five things that ultra successful people do that unsuccessful people do not do. And if I could make one point just for you to remember, hopefully y'all got notes on that one. If not, you'll see the recording. But one thing that I really also want to point out, just to remind you, is that breathing part to get yourself into the theta to alpha wave brain state is going to be phenomenal for you before calls, before a meeting, before recruiting, before working out, before playing a sport, before you start your prayer time for the day. That breathing, that ritual right there, it's very solemn. You really take that part seriously. And if you do those things, those five things, you breathe a certain way, you take advantage of your morning and you program yourself for success. As soon as you hear that opportunity clock go off, you think big, you take initiative, and you have a do it now mentality. Those five things will always take care of you. If you take care of them and you do them and you implement in your life and you teach that, those five things will always take care of you. All right. Now, we're going to talk about very quickly as the book list. And we're going to double back to some things. But from a book list standpoint, I want you to understand how valuable it is to have actual paper copies of books. Now, I'm a fan of audiobooks, but there are certain books, like, for example, Greatest Salesman in the World. There are certain books that I'm going to read and read again. Why? Because reading actually changes the composition of your brain. Not only does reading put you in that alpha theta wave brain state, the actual physical act of turning pages and looking at books and processing information through your retina, reading changes the composition of your brain. One of the best things I ever did was go to law school before the internet was what it is today. So I went to law school over 20 years ago. The internet was a thing, but it was nowhere near what it was, over 20 years ago when I went to law school for the first time in 1999. The internet was not what it was. Even our applications for law school, we had to get them on paper and mail them in. Okay. So just understand reading. And so I got a chance to read every single day. Didn't even matter what I was reading, but it was law books. But I got a chance to read for 3 years straight. Every single day, I'm reading 10, 20, 30, sometimes hundreds of pages in a day that you had to read for hours and hours and hours. And it changes your brain. When I got out of law school, my brain worked different. It was just stronger. I can't really explain it, but physical reading as opposed to audio, I do recommend doing both because for time purposes, you got to listen to audiobooks too. But let me tell you how important reading is before I give you just the next part of our book list. Y'all already got the books all the way up to the two books I just released earlier this year. You got all the way up to that, okay? But here's what people who were evil and in power would always do. Do you understand that they always tried to keep people illiterate? Do you understand even before the transatlantic slave trade, when slave owners forbid slaves to read, and it was a crime to even teach slaves how to read, even way before slavery? Do you understand evil has always been in this world? Well, not always, but for a very long time. And whatever ruling class would always try to keep people from reading. The old church back when they were doing the Spanish Inquisition, they were killing people all around the world, claiming that's what God told them to do. We know that wasn't true. Do you understand they wrote them books in Latin on purpose because they knew very few people could read Latin? They didn't want anybody reading. Super, super ultra wealthy people never wanted working class people or never wanted anybody who wasn't in that elite level to read. They wanted to keep them illiterate for several reasons. But number one, you couldn't transfer information to another place in a book if you couldn't read. So you wouldn't get information you really wanted to know. Do you know that even after slavery became outlawed, a lot of slaves on different plantations didn't even know it was over? They didn't even know because they couldn't even read the thing that was plastered everywhere around the country. Not that it mattered anyway, because here comes Jim Crow, but that's another conversation. So my point is, they've always tried to keep, but I say they, I mean the people who are ruling in power, who are evil, regardless of what they look like or whatever. In society, they've always wanted to keep people illiterate, not just because you can't get information that you need, okay, but also because they knew something I'm telling you right now. Reading changes the composition of your brain. It doesn't matter if you're reading network marketing books, personal development books, if you're reading comic books. if you're reading graphic novels, if you're reading the 50 Shades of Grey books that the ladies was on all them years ago, it doesn't matter really what the book is about. It's the act of reading. Now, it's better if you're reading personal development books. It's better if you're reading the Bible or the spiritual text of your choice. But I'm a believer. I believe in Christ as King, so I love the Bible. Okay, it doesn't matter what book you're reading as much as the act of reading. It literally will make you smarter. Okay. It literally changes your brain's ability to process information and output stronger signals. And if you've been on any call we've been on, you know that part of the organization of subatomic material is the responsibility of your brain. The stronger your brain, the better you are at doing that. All right. So do me a favor, put a 3 in the chat if you understand why reading is really important for you. Not just the audiobooks, but reading is critical, and you cannot get away from that. I mean, if you don't want to, be your smartest version of yourself, then so be it. If you don't want a strong, healthy, robust brain, working out is one thing. Reading is the closest thing to a physical workout for your brain. Just understand that conceptually, okay? Now, just a couple of books we want to add to the book list. And again, you don't have to read these today. This is probably a good project for you for 2026. But 2 of the ones we're going to add, Animal Farm by George Orwell. That book, we had to read that in high school. I don't even know if they make kids read books anymore in high school. But that particular book was very, very, very important. Animal Farm by George Orwell. It'll make you really just understand why the world is working out the way it is right now. All right. But that's a very important one for you. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Not sure if that one was on there last time or not, but yes, that needs to be on there. Okay. The Magic of Thinking Big was already on there by David Schwartz. We're going to keep that on there. The Go-Getter by Peter B. Kind. Very short book, absolutely impactful. The audiobook is just as much fun as the paperback, but it's called The Go-Getter by Peter Kind, Kyne. Okay. Here's another book. I remember this one from a very long time ago. I think you can get this one on audio for free on YouTube, but you can also get a copy of it. It's called It Works. All right. And the subtitle is The Famous Little Red Book That Makes Your Dreams Come True. And the author's name is R.H.J. Okay, R.H.J. Don't know what that stands for, but that's the author's name. I remember when I first read it, I was like, that's a strange name for an author. It's just initials, but it's called It Works, The Famous Little Red Book That Makes Your Dreams Come True by R.H.J. And I'm pretty sure you can find those on YouTube for free as well. All right, obviously, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I think next year we're going to do a class on that where we go through the original text for that book. Here's one of my absolute favorites coming up next, The Magic of Believing by Claude Bristol. Okay, that's on my bookshelf as well. The Magic of Believing by Claude Bristol. Absolutely phenomenal. The audiobook for that one is phenomenal as well. Okay, See You at the Top by Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar's The Pride of Yazoo City, Mississippi. A lot of people claim to be from Yazoo City, Mississippi, but Zig Ziglar was actually from Yazoo City, Mississippi. And that book is called See You at the Top. Okay. Here's another one called Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. Some of you may have heard of that one before. Not the new version, like the new cyber. No, that one's trash. We don't know. The original OG Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. That's the one right there. Super, super amazing. Okay, super amazing. All right. And the last one that's new on the list is a book by Victor Bach, B-O-C, Victor Bach. And it's called How to Solve All Your Money Problems Forever by Victor Bach. How to Solve All Your Money Problems Forever by Victor Bach. And of course, for people who are new on the call, we do recommend the following books from Tom Big Al Schreider. Coach Marcus talked about one earlier. The 4 Color Personality Types for Network Marketing. We recommend that one. Icebreakers. It's my favorite network marketing book of all time. I think it's the most important book for new network marketers to read on technique, that one. How to Create Instant Trust, Belief, and Rapport. That is also by Tom Big Al Schreider. Those books can be found on Amazon or at bigalbooks.com. And then just two more for just people who are new, who didn't know that we have books available for you. It's going to be How to Make Your First $1 Million in Network Marketing, as well as The Hidden Empire, Advanced Tactics and Skills for Building a Network Marketing Empire. And those last two I wrote, and you can get those. Those are available. I think my Facebook bio should have those in there. And if not, you can reach out on Facebook and I can drop those links uh, for you on there. Okay. Now, we do have a movie list. All right, coming up. I'm going to have our movie list ready for you on Sunday. They're absolutely phenomenal. You are going to love this. The movie list, I think it gives you a reason. I'm going to have the movie for you on Sunday's call. I mean, on Tuesday evening's call. I feel like you'll really be able to appreciate the movie list. It's going to be movies that definitely are, some are entertaining, some are educational, some are hard to watch, some are easy to watch, but every one of those is going to help you shift your mind into a state of creating the life that you really desire. So I think y'all will really enjoy the movie list, and we will have that one all done for you on Tuesday. Now, let's double back. I've said we were going to double back just a little bit, and I have two things left before we wrap this call. We're talking about specifically thinking big, all right? And we talked about that, just that one aspect, and the rank you want and the income you want. I want to be a $1 million diamond, or I want to be a six-figure diamond, or this, that, or a third. I need you to understand that your inner confidence, and confidence is a certain type of inner stability. It's a type of inner stability, internal safety that makes you very confident. And this is very important to achieve what you want. Now, when we talk about confidence and people start thinking to themselves, I really want to be a diamond, I want you to just have a little thought experiment with me. All right. And this will help you. This will help you. And I don't mean a diamond now. Diamond now is so easy to do. I think it's like 15 orders of like $10 or something like that. That's like $150 in sales. It's not, they made it so easy. It's not even like, I have trouble really celebrating it like I used to when it was a lot more difficult. So it's no disrespect to the new people that have gone diamond. It's the fact that it's so easy. The volume generated doesn't even, from an income standpoint, you gotta, we gonna need a different metric to kind of measure greatness because it's just too simple at this point. Just too easy to do. Everybody should be a diamond by the event. I mean, there won't even be rings for these 10,000 new diamonds we have because it doesn't even generate enough income for the organization. They couldn't even buy their own ring being a diamond. They haven't made enough to even buy their own ring. So the fact that they made diamond too easy, it's good. It's good for people, but it's also bad for people because a lot of people are going to start thinking they're they're going to think they worked a lot harder than they did, not realizing what diamond used to be. Okay, so that's just that. But here's the point. If let's say HBN diamond, since that's a lot harder to do. If you really want to be a diamond, like when we first came in at HBN, I said, I really want to be a diamond. I never thought to myself that I wasn't. Okay. And then I just want you to just take the rest of this call, just have a little thought experiment with me. This will click for some of you. And this will work for almost anything because your mind is the greatest tool that God gave you. It's just how it goes. Okay. And when you're thinking about being a diamond, I want you to think about it as if you already were. Or if you're a $1 million earner, think about it as if you already were. And I want you to, in one word, really talk about the feeling that you would feel if you already were. What's that feeling? Just put that in the chat. If you're already a $1 million earner, or you're already a HBN diamond, or whatever it is, just put that in the chat. The feeling that you would have if you already were. Let's just see what that is for some people. The feeling. Okay. Now here's the point. Some people say relieved. I love that. Grateful. Okay, I love that. Yeah, don't be afraid. Play along. Play along. This will help you. Yeah, some people say I feel special. Yeah, definitely. Confident, right? Now here's the thing. I said amazing, accomplished. I love it. Excited, elated. I love it. Blessed for sure. Now here's the thing. You do not have to be a $1 million earner or HBN diamond or go to sign a six-figure earner to feel amazing. You don't have to be an HBN diamond or a gold to sign 100K earner to feel relieved or feel confident. You can choose to feel that way anyway. The reason you want to be a diamond in the first place is because it makes you feel confident. The reason you want to be a six-figure earner is because it would make you feel grateful or feel special or feel confident or feel accomplished. It's the feeling you want. It's not even a thing. I'll prove it to you. If the rank of diamond was not called diamond and it was called, Starship Commander, to become a diamond would mean nothing to you. To become a Starship Commander would make you feel confident and blessed and elated and excited. It doesn't even matter what it is. It's the feeling of confidence that you want. You want the feeling of confidence. You don't want the Benz. You want the feeling that driving a Mercedes Benz, if that's your car choice, whatever car choice that you want. Okay, so just imagine if you already were driving the dream car, the natural dream car that you want, if you already had that, okay, how would you feel if you were driving your dream car? I don't only have to put the car in the chat, but put how would you feel? Put that in the chat. How would you feel if you were driving your dream car? I don't care if it's Ferrari, Lamborghini, 1962, whatever. Just put the feeling in there. You would feel confident. That you would feel excited. You feel happy. You see, you don't want the car. You want to feel happy. You want to feel free. You want to feel fun. You want to feel grateful. Feel like a queen. You want the feeling. It's not the car. It's the feeling. Okay? Now, I'm hear me out. No, it sounds crazy for some of y'all. Some of y'all will get it. Everything. Yep. And Clarence knows. Look, you can tell a person who had some stuff before. Clarence say the feeling doesn't last long. Then it becomes normal, right? Then you're looking for something else. The problem is when you look for things external, okay, they will give you the feeling of confidence or successful or satisfied, happy. They will give you that feeling temporarily. But I can tell you, if you understand the next thing I'm going to say, it can change everything for you. All right. The feeling, if you can have that first, the things come automatically. All right. I'm just hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. When you're in the Porsche or the Lamborghini or whatever, you feel proud, right? You feel a certain way, like, oh, I'm proud to have accomplished this. People see me at the gas station, oh, nice car, this, that, or third. You feel a certain way. But what if I told you that everything you've ever seen on this planet or touched ever, every single thing you have ever seen or heard or touched or tasted or smelled, everything you've ever handled, from a broom to a BMW, it was created twice. If I tell you everything that you ever experienced with any of your five senses was created twice, how many people know what I mean when I say that? It was created where first? Where was everything on this planet created first? In the mind. Exactly. In the imagination. Everything. Exactly. So if everything was created first in the mind, and you can think of the rank you want in your mind, don't think of it from a standpoint of, I don't have it, I need it. Think about it from a standpoint of saying, once I think about it, it is literally, the check is in the mail. It's on the way. I just haven't seen it in the physical reality yet, but I already have it. Like if I told you I was going to put a check in the mail to you for $50,000, it'll take 4 to 7 business days to get there. If I told you that right now, I'm going to do this one day. I'm going to send somebody a random check for 50 grand. Just know it. All right. I'm speaking it out there. It's going to happen. If you knew that you had a check coming in 4 to 7 business days for $50,000, how many people would start acting differently or feeling differently in that moment? How many people? Now, listen, you couldn't spend anything different because you don't have it yet, but you know it's coming. Would you feel different? Because I would. I would. I used to get excited when the government would send me a letter saying your refund check is on the way. I would get excited. I didn't even have it yet, but I felt so excited about it. Okay, you got to understand that concept. If you can just generate the feeling is the secret. This is what Proverbs talked about. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. It's what it is. It's the thinking of it that makes it so. It's the feeling. And when you combine, a lot of people, some of y'all know this, some of y'all don't. You do understand the 66 books in the Bible are not the original Bible that was intended for God's people. You do understand it's missing over 10 books. Just accept and understand that statement of fact. But Will, no, you just hear me out. Just trust your boy. It is anywhere from 81. Some ancient Bible scholars even say 88 books, but it's in the 80s. That's what we all agree upon. But from a Bible scholarship standpoint, it ain't 66. You're missing a lot. Okay. And when you figure out the people who just a few hundred years ago, this is not thousands of years ago when this happened. This is just a few hundred years ago. When you figure out the people, thank you, Tiara. You're rolling with the real deal. If you think about the people or learn about the people who took out like 20 books, you will understand why it's so important to get the rest of those back. Just understand that conceptually, all right? And having it online ain't good enough, because if the internet ever crashed tomorrow, the number one thing you want to have in your house is the actual real Bible, the full unedited, unabridged word of God is what you want to have. Yeah, the Ethiopian Bible is the one that's what they call the one that is typically has everything in there. But again, I recommend it for everybody. I am not ashamed of none of that. Y'all know that. But here's my point. When you there are certain books that were lost. If you were to read these, there were certain elements that talked about thought plus feeling equals what you want. And those verses, not just the books, sometimes the verse was removed from the book, which was crazy. They just took out that verse. They didn't want they were like, we don't want anybody to know that. Okay. And that was from something Thomas had written. Now, when you understand, you think something, your main job is not to figure out how to get it. That's actually God's job. That's the Holy Spirit's job, to orchestrate events in your life that you cannot even conceive of how these things work. Okay. But you figure out what you want, why you want it. And if you really want it to happen quicker, focus on cultivating the feeling you would have if you already had it. Please understand that that's really what faith is about. Understanding that you have it, even though you don't see it yet. Okay, people talk about seeing things in your third eye. Don't be spooked out about that concept of a third eye. Understand that the imagination, your pineal gland, a part of your brain that when you close your eyes, you can start to really think about, see things in your imagination, vivid in color, that taste a certain way, that feel a certain way, that look a certain way. You may not always have your physical sight, but you will always have your mental sight. Okay? You always got to have your mental sight. You got to understand that conceptually. Your mental sight can never be taken away from you. And that is the most important sight you have, the imagination. All right. If you just focus on cultivating the feeling that you would have if you knew that the $50,000 check was in the mail, you'll get the $50,000 check. It's the same thing with the car. It's the same thing with being a six-figure earner. It's the same thing about being a diamond at any company. It's the same thing with everything. And this is why the world, don't be conformed to the world, but this is why the world fights so hard with media, the news, social media, certain TV shows, certain things to make you so scared that you can't think of nothing else but the latest scandal, the latest political craziness, the latest haters trying to mess up your business. Like, you can't think about it, that when people pop up just with the negativity, it's taking you out of the mindset of how you would operate if you already had what you know you're supposed to have. Mentally, it is a thing. Okay? Mentally. So I'm not going to talk y'all head off about it. You're either going to get it or you don't. If you don't get it, you'll get it eventually. Okay? You'll get it eventually. All right? But if you did the things that we talked about earlier on this call, Read the books as you get time to read. Definitely be in Vegas. Please be in Vegas if you want to transform your business, because that's another thing. I guess if you want a bonus one, number six, what do ultra successful people do? They associate with other successful people because they know that being wealthy and being successful and being persistent and getting things done, it just rubs off on you. It just rubs off on you. You can't explain it no other way. A lot of people are taught to say that it doesn't work that way, and they say that it doesn't work that way because they don't want you to know that it works that way. But it most definitely works that way. And this is why really wealthy people always they're shoulder to shoulder. This is why wealthy people, successful people always show up at the same events. Even if look, even if ain't none of us get invited, this is why they always meet and fellowship together at some point, because they know that there is just an energetic spiritual anointing transfer when you are physically in the same place as people who have what you want. This is why me and Yusef Willoughby used to drive cross country to go to events and sleep in the car, because we knew we could not miss no event if we wanted to be great. And a lot of people don't know this. Yusef gonna be mad at me for telling this story. Me and him at like a company or two before HBN, we were at the same level. We were on stage together as top 1% earners at a company. Me and him were on stage together with the same rank. And the only thing I'm gonna say happened between now and then is I never missed an event ever, and he did. That's the one thing that really kind of widened it. That's my cousin, so you know I love him. I'm always look out. We always look out for each other. But just understand, life got in the way. He started missing events, and life got in the way for me too. But I never missed an event for any company I was ever qualified to attend. Till this day, I have never missed a single event that I have ever qualified to attend for any company that had one in network marketing ever. And that's one of the things that allows me to be positioned I'm at when there are people who work harder than me, people who are smarter than me, people who've been doing network marketing longer than me, who do not have the same results I have. A lot of times it's because I'm so fanatical about event culture and I know what it can mean for you. I don't care if tickets are sold out or not. You're gonna have to make a seat for me because I ain't missing this one. And that's just kind of how it goes. All right. So do yourself that favor. Think about what you want. Reconnect with the things on your top four list or your top 20, your goals, your dreams, the things you really want to see achieved, and start to try to find just a few minutes a day to do that breathing exercise, get into the alpha and theta wave brain state, and then just see yourself already having the thing you want and just feeling the feeling of what that feels like and give that feeling a name. Like really be specific of what that feeling is. And that alone will help you have it so much faster. I'm only telling you this because it worked for me and many, many other people who taught me, and I saw the lifestyle they had. I wanted that, well, my version of that. And that is what exactly worked for me. All right. So that being said, we'll be covering more stuff like that in the near future. We will see y'all tomorrow night, Monday at 7 p.m. for the testimonial call. And then I'll reconnect with you, ladies and gentlemen, on Tuesday with the one and only Coach Seymour Greenwich Blake. And he'll have, if he has some time at the end of that call, I'll pop on for some cool stuff in the movie list and things like that. But thank you so much, Coach Marcus. Anything you want to share, Coach, before we wrap up?
Yeah, let me stop the recording.